would have liked my parents. Everybody did. They were really nice. They were friendly, they were outgoing, they were fun, they were nice. They were the type of people who loved talking to strangers, wherever, whenever. Elevators? Yeah. Those communal tables at a hibachi restaurant? Oh yes, this was their wheelhouse. You're getting shrimp? We love shrimp. Is that your husband? He looks just like that guy from the movie with the astronaut on the rocket ship. What do you do for a living? You're kidding, we go to the dentist. When my mom was nervous, she was great. She was an expert at inane banter. Once she told me about a crazy dream she had where her golf clubs were replaced by croquet mallets. What was crazier was her need to turn to two strangers in a food court and say, I was just telling him about a dream I had where my golf clubs were replaced by croquet mallets. They just stared. So my nice unfiltered parents, they acted like gregarious drunk people, but without the drunk. In fact, I only saw my mom tipsy once on New Year's Eve. That doesn't count. And up to that point, I had never seen my father drunk, which makes that one night in the summer of 1981 so bizarre. I was 19, I was home from my first year of college, and I wanted to celebrate. So my mom, dad, and I went to my favorite restaurant, Casa Maria, a festive Mexican place on a highway in northern New Jersey. Casa Maria was big and new and always packed on the weekends. Years before, it had been a catering hall that hosted budget-friendly office parties and weddings, and the only remnant of the old venue was a shiny wooden dance floor in the middle of the cantina area. It was a large, slick, rectangular surface filled with giant club chairs on wheels. And the chairs were way too big for the space, and they weren't practical, as they tended to tilt and roll around as you reached for your complimentary basket of tortilla chips. It was like bumper cars in a hotel lobby on a bowling alley. It was a bad setup, but it was fun. I was 19. You didn't mind waiting 20 minutes for your name to be called for your table. And on that Saturday night, the restaurant was really buzzing. The wait for dinner was well over an hour, but the food was good. We were having fun, and we were too exhausted from hunger to go anywhere else. So we sat in the cantina area, we ordered drinks, and we waited it out around a tiny cocktail table in our 3 giant brown tilt-a-whirl chairs. My father, Mr. Nice Guy, chatted up the Mexican waitress. He complimented her beautiful skin and ordered a martini. And like all the drinks at Casa Maria, it was grande. A V-shaped vat of vodka you could really get your face into. Maybe a bad choice on an empty stomach? I think you know the answer to that. I could tell the first one hit him pretty good, like a small piñata bat to the head. He was so happy and throwing around the word phenomenal. This restaurant does a phenomenal business. Our waitress is phenomenal. This olive is phenomenal. Our table in the restaurant was still not ready. Another martini, senor. Of course, because the first one was so phenomenal. By the end of vodka cauldron number 2, everything was even more phenomenal, except something behind him. Every once in a while, I noticed my dad glancing over his shoulder at the group of 4 people sitting behind him. From their body language, I was pretty sure this was a first time meeting my parents dinner. A young woman sat at the furthest from us. She was pretty and quiet, and her parents you would cast if you were making a movie about a girl introducing her boyfriend to her parents. They sat next to her. The boyfriend was closest to us. Even from the back, I could tell he was nervous. I remember him wearing a tweed jacket in June in a casual Mexican restaurant, dressing to impress, He liked the girl. The stakes were high. An hour had passed. Our table was still not ready. But you know what was? Martini number 3. The waitress with the skin thought it was a good idea to bring one on the house to the happy, nice, red-faced man sitting at my table. My dad glanced back again. What was going on? Oh, I know. Mr. Nice Guy is gonna chime into the table behind him. Hey, you look like that guy from the Rocket movie. Hey, nice jacket. It's phenomenal. But that's not what he said. What Mr. Nice Guy said was, this guy's being a jerk. My mom and I were stunned. Where did this come from? He repeated the same, louder, this time stabbing his thumb behind him at the nervous boyfriend. This guy's being a jerk. He keeps hitting my chair on purpose. Dad, I whispered, it's the chairs. He's not doing it on purpose. My mom tried to help. Hun, you're drunk. He swung his head at her like Jackie Gleason. Oh yeah? Well, at least I'm not a jerk. Then we begged, Dad, please be quiet. Okay, he said to our surprise. Then he locked his mouth with an imaginary key and threw it across the room. I had never seen anyone do this before, and I followed the fake key across the room like a dog being fooled in a game of fetch. Wait, what did he throw? What? Oh, nothing. Great. But at least he was quiet until his chair got hit again. This time he sprung up, wheeled around, and loomed over the other table, pointing a finger at each one of them. You're nice, you're nice, you're nice, you're a jerk. And then he sat down, relocked his mouth, because his job was done. The Meet the Parents table was stunned. That's an understatement. The action by my father was so out of the blue, it was as if a kangaroo had appeared at their table, took a shit, and disappeared. Silence for a long time at both tables. Nobody moved. I apologized to them with a physical gesture as weird as the bizarre attack. It seemed to work. They went back to their chips and small talk, but with an occasional safety check on the wild animal at my table. If the boyfriend was nervous before, I couldn't imagine how much sweat was trapped under that tweed jacket now. More silence. Then finally, to the relief of everyone in our part of the cantina area, our table was ready. We steered my dad through the maze of club chairs, pinballing, and poured him into a booth in the dining room. By now, mercifully, he had hit the booze wall. We ordered something absorbative for him, which he ate in hunched silence. And then we all quietly went home. The next day, my mom said that my father had no recollection of what happened. Look, not surprising, and definitely for the best. He would have been really embarrassed. You know, I never saw him behave that way ever again. And if anything, that one crazy moment, by contrast, just reinforced what a good guy he always was. In February of this year, he passed away, peacefully in front of the TV at 90. And I miss him. He was kind, supportive, funny. He was a great guy. Ask anyone. Well, except maybe some guy in New Jersey with an old tweed jacket hanging in the back of his closet. But you know what? That guy's a jerk.